This ball is crushed.
You're listening to the NYY Recaps Podcast.
First Yankee at bat.
All right, so what can we expect from Giancarlo Stanton in 2020? He's entering his age 31 season. So, the clock is ticking for him to do something before he starts to decline because of his age, just naturally. No matter how good a shape he's in, every player begins to decline around 32, 33, and then, unless they're on steroids, which he's not. But there was a time in the 90s there where guys were getting better at 37. That just doesn't happen anymore. You're starting to see things go a little more like they did in the 80s and earlier, where guys would get to 32, 33, and their bodies would begin to break down. Now, Giancarlo, unfortunately, has had a series of unfortunate injuries hampering his time with the Yankees. You hope that Stanton isn't going to be one of those guys who's hurt all the time. He was injured a lot with the Marlins, but some of that was, he broke a bone and then he got hit in the face with a pitch. It was freaky stuff. But he played on a injured hamstring in 2018 and still had a nice season. 38 homers, 102 RBIs. He's a likable guy, but the fans have been booing him hard since he struck out 4 or 5 times in his first game, opening day with the Yankees. I guess it wasn't his first game. It was his first home game in the Bronx. But then he went deep the next day. But this year was interesting. He had that strikeout on a changeup from, I think a guy's name was Jason Meeks, the lefty from Baltimore. And he was getting everybody to flail at that changeup. I think one of the things that happened there is that a lot of these guys that the Orioles brought up this season, they were new to the major leagues. There was no scouting reports, so nobody knew that this guy, Jason Meeks, had a really good changeup. And so the first time through the order, I think he struck out like 7 guys, and Stanton was one of them. And he kind of flailed at an outside changeup, injures his bicep. They said bicep tendon strain, and right away they're saying it's going to be a few weeks. Well, a few weeks turned into a few months because it just wasn't getting right. And then he comes back, and he's going into third. He's trying to take third on a play that's happening across the diamond. He gets thrown out, comes down hard on his knee. And you could tell when he sat up, he had kind of a strange look on his face. Like, you didn't know if he was embarrassed to get thrown out at third or, I felt something there. I think I might be hurt again. He comes back in late September, looks good, has a nice series against the Twins. And then he hits a home run off Justin Verlander in Game 1 of the ALCS. So he can hit quality pitching. And you're thinking, okay, if we get Stanton hot and Judge is due to get hot, we might have a good series here. But then the tides turn. You find out the next day before the game that Stanton is out with a hamstring injury. So, maybe, as Aaron Boone says, these guys are like race cars, right? Everything's got to be kind of finely tuned, or else, the whole machine doesn't function right. If you saw Ford versus Ferrari, you can tell I'm a movie fan. If you saw Ford versus Ferrari, you know that there's a lot of things that can go wrong in a race car. And so I think that's what Aaron Boone was implying. Now, a lot of guys, have their careers significantly shortened by injury. Even athletic guys. Tulo. We saw last year firsthand. He came back, had a nice spring, was healthy, made it like 3 or 4 games before being injured and of ultimately retiring. We saw the Ellsbury contract last few years. Guys, they get something wrong and they can never get right. And that's my concern with Stanton. I just hope that this winter he took some time off. He rested. We don't need to spend every day in the gym pumping iron to be a baseball player. He's a professional athlete. I'm not going to tell him what to do, but you can take some time off to heal and get right, get the body healthy. And now that we're in a new year and hopefully the body has had time to heal, come to spring training with the thought, I don't need to hit 60 home runs. I don't need to, save this team. All I need to do is stay on the field. So, my favorite player of all time, Don Mattingly, his career ended early because of the back injury. He just could never get right from it. And we've seen tons of players. I mean, just Vernon Wells, all these guys, they have injury and after serious injury, and it breaks down their body. So I hope that Stanton is over it. I hope that he got some good R&R. Sorry, getting a little sunlight in here. I hope that he had some R&R, and that he has a really strong 2020.
Recaps of big games, the best home run calls, trades, rumors, and what's happening down on the farm. Every game, all season long.